Buckskin Frank Leslie was co-owner of the Cosmopolitan Saloon, which was next door to the Cosmopolitan Hotel. The hotel and saloon were both destroyed by fire and were located where this empty lot is now. On June 22, 1880, Frank Leslie was talking to Mary Jane May Killeen. She was married to Mike Killeen, and Frank Leslie had stood up in their wedding. Frank had his arm around May when Mike Killeen showed up. Frank and Mike got into an argument, violence erupted, and Mike shot at Frank and missed, and Frank shot at Mike and did not miss. Mike died 5 days later, and 8 days after his death, Frank married May. She had been married twice within 84 days. On November 14, 1882, Frank Leslie was confronted by Billy Claiborne in front of the Oriental Saloon. Billy was upset, believing that Frank had killed Johnny Ringo. Billy shot at Frank and missed, and again Frank's shot did not miss, and he killed Billy Claiborne. Later, Frank bought a ranch north of Tombstone. He was married to Molly Edwards. He arrived at the ranch and found Molly talking to a man named James Neal. He went into a rage and shot and killed Molly and shot James twice. Molly died, but James survived. Frank Leslie was sentenced to life in prison at Yuma Territorial Prison. He was escorted to prison by Texas John Slaughter. He was pardoned after 6 years as a model prisoner. He later married Eleanor Cast on November 6, 1913. He was 74 years old at the time. He stated in a record from January 1920 he was single and disappeared into history. On October 28, 1880, in an empty lot on the corner of Allen and 6th Street where the Birdcage Theater now stands, Curly Bill Brocious was drunk and started shooting his pistol. Marshal Fred White investigated. As Curly Bill was handing him his pistol, Fred White reached out and grabbed the barrel of the gun and went off and shot him. He died the next day. Curly Bill was arrested and stood trial. Wyatt Earp testified that it was an accident and Curly Bill was released. February 25, 1881. Luke Short was a faro dealer in the Oriental Saloon. Charlie Storms, a gunfighter who was drunk, was making rude remarks about Short. Violence was about to take place when Bat Masterson stepped in and advised Storms to go to his hotel room. Later, Luke Short and Bat Masterson were talking on the sidewalk in front of the Oriental when Storms appeared, took hold of Luke Short's arm, and pulled him off the sidewalk, tried to throw him in the street while at the same time drawing his gun. Luke Short shot him through the heart and set his shirt on fire. Then he shot him again on the way down. One bystander reported the faro game went on as though nothing had happened. January 14, 1881, Michael O'Rourke, who was known as Johnny Behind the Deuce, killed Henry Snyder in disputed contention, Arizona. Snyder was a mining engineer and well liked in the town, and townspeople wanted to lynch him. So Constable George McKelvey took O'Rourke to Tombstone, chased by the mob. Virgin and Wyatt Earp put O'Rourke in Vogan's bowling alley. The building had a small rear door that only one person could get through at a time, and the building was more secure than the jail. Wyatt and his shotgun, along with others, dispelled the angry mob and O'Rourke was saved. He was taken to Tucson and put in jail. He escaped and never stood trial. Pony Dio claims to have killed O'Rourke in 1882, believing that he had killed Johnny Ringo. This was the Grand Hotel here in Tombstone. Cowboys stayed here the night before the shootout at the OK Corral. October 26, 1881. Virgil Morgan and Wyatt Earp meet up on the sidewalk in front of Halford's Saloon. Doc Holliday joins them and they proceed to go north on 4th Street to Fremont Street, where they went west to a vacant lot next to Fly's photographic studio. Shooting erupted. There were 30 shots fired in 30 seconds. 2 cowboys, Ike and Billy Claiborne, ran away. 3 of the cowboys were killed. Billy Clanton, Tom McClowry, and Frank McClowry, who died on Fremont Street. Virgil Morgan and Doc Holliday were wounded. Earp stood trial for murder and were acquitted. Wyatt did not receive any wounds during his entire life. He died in Los Angeles on January 13, 1929 at the age of 80. Parking lot today, this is where the courthouse stood where they tried the Earps for murder. Shiflin Hall, they had operas and stage shows from all over the country. Very high-class place back in the day. December 28, 1881, Virgil Earp left the Oriental Saloon and walked west on Allen Street toward the Golden Eagle Brewery, which is the Crystal Palace Saloon today. Gunmen were hiding in a building across the street. The building was under construction. It was going to be the office of the Huachuca Water Company. Today it's a Longhorn restaurant. Gunman shot Virgil Earp, hitting him in his left arm. He was not able to use the arm for the rest of his life. On March 18, 1882, Morgan Earp was playing billiards at the Gamble and Hatch Billiards Parlor when he was shot by a gunman through a window in the rear door of the building. A second shot just missed Wyatt Earp, who was sitting observing the game. Morgan died the same night.